All right, where am I? I am live. I think we did it. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I think today's Thursday. Frank could see me, sweet. This Thursday, 1 week away from Thanksgiving. Could you believe it? We're almost there. It's crazy how fast this year went. James, good morning. Thanks for being here. Our YouTube friends are gonna join us in a second, as are the Facebook friends. Appreciate everybody coming today. Justin, good morning. Justin says hi to all also. Polly is in the house. Good morning. Polly, I was in South Carolina this weekend. I was in Charleston area. It was wonderful. Lockhart, good morning. ACH Construction, AKA Antonio, is here. Good morning. Griffin, morning. Griffin short 96. Oh, man, he's already on top of his game. He's short 96 from 96. Wow. Nice job. Griffin short from 96. He got on it early. The crosshairs right there. Hopefully you're still in there, man. You got a good 8-handle head start. First round is on you. And first round's on you today. Good morning, Lee, Pablo, M. Bartlett. Guzman, good morning. Good morning. Is it 10 o'clock? Yeah, I kind of logged in a little bit. You know, this morning was definitely, Michael, good morning. Michael F. is here. Appreciate that. This morning was nearly a tragedy for me. It was nearly the end of the world for me. And I'm stalling a little bit because we're going to start right on time. So I'll just kind of tell you why it was almost the end of the world. I could not find a coffee mug. I made the coffee ready to go. Actually, Mrs. Kaggs made the coffee, so I don't want to take credit for making the coffee, but couldn't find a coffee mug. I looked through every cabinet, every drawer, my office. It was horrible. I almost ran out to buy one. And then it dawned on me. They were all in the dishwasher. So my heart rate went to about 120, then back down to normal. Frank, no, that wasn't the problem. Terrence, good morning. Thanks for being here. Wen, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Griffin says, nice pullback at the 3-minute. Rick from Facebook, good morning. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. All right, what time is it? We got another minute almost, not even. I know I have to wait exactly to get started here. Put the intro screen up, the NinjaTrader info screen up. Super cool. Juan Esteban, good morning. Matthias from Facebook, can you show how to trade with order flow? I'm going to try my best, Matthias. I don't know. I'm going to try to. No, I'm going to stick with the volume profile today. The footprint, when you're talking about number bars and that kind of thing, it kind of makes me crazy. Amirtham, good morning. Isam, good morning. David, good morning. Rick, thanks for coming. Dan. Oh, man. Tova. Tova says, I guess I know who does the dishes. Exactly. I know. No, come on. I've loaded that dishwasher before. It's not bad. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for coming, everybody. If you're brand new, I'm Jim Cagnina, Senior Education and Training Specialist for the NinjaTrader platform. If you're not brand new, I'm still Jim Cagnina. Thanks for coming. Today's event, trade setups in the E-mini S&P 500 market. I do want to remind everybody, trading futures, options on futures involves substantial risk of loss, not suitable for all traders. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility, although that could be an equation for opportunity, which I think is why we're all here. It's also an equation for risk, so be careful. Only fund your futures trading account with risk capital, my personal definition. Money I could afford to lose. Doesn't change my lifestyle. Doesn't overly stress me out. That's kind of me. It's a personal kind of idea, right? Everyone's unique in this great world of ours. So just be in a good spot, be in a good place, easy on the day trade margins. I am signed into my real-time simulated live trading account using the NinjaTrader software with real-time data. All right, we have a morning, man. We have a morning, and Griffin called it early, man. He was short from 96. Now we're trading down at 88. I'm still relatively bullish so far. We had some economic numbers coming in today. That was a little bit of a mixed bag, but didn't really move the needle. If I just kind of, I'm going to go over to my 7, would be 8:30 actually, 8:30 to 8:40 bar here, and this is when this economic data came out. Philly Fed, along with the jobless claims, and it didn't do anything. We had this weird looking candle here though at 4 o'clock, 4 to 4:10. Something happened there, and we also see the same behavior in the micro or the classic, both of them, E-mini NASDAQ market. But right now, this is kind of looking kind of negative right now. CCI minus 263. That's a indicator for you. That's telling. Look at the momentum down here. Real steep slopes on the way down on the CCI. Minus 257, pretty weak. I'm not going to say we're oversold by any stretch of the imagination yet. Let's see what this next candle brings us. Moving average cross is starting to diverge. The fast moving average is 6, slow is 26, and they're separating, right? That's what diverge means, right? I get these confused. Converge is getting closer together, diverge is getting further apart. So the faster one's moving quicker than the slower one on the downward basis, very negative also. From a volume profile point of view, we got so far a pretty nice looking volume profile, and it's a very, very handsome. I'm going to use the word handsome volume profile. Point of control is kind of in the middle, a little bit south. If you take the range high to low completely and kind of look at it, we're trading, it's below the point of control, but above the bottom of the value area. And we'll see what happens here. We have a competing point of control now, right where my crosshairs is at 89, trying to kind of pick up some steam here. Alex is somehow long at 89 and 3/4. I don't know if that's bad or not. I don't know that that's a bad idea. It might not be a bad idea. We'll see. Alex, were you the one who picked the low yesterday and just wrote it up? That was a good trade. I'm not sure I can't remember who did that. Dem, good morning. Thanks for being here. Gerardo, thank you. And good morning to you as well. All right, so let's start drawing some fib lines. Let's start drawing some rectangles, and we'll shoot over to the micro NASDAQ too and see what that kind of has in store for us today. Fib line, F8. I'm going to use my menu though, and it's a tough call. Do you go low to high, or do you go high to low? I'm going high to low today. Click once, find the low, click again, and now I have my Fibonacci retracement up there, and we're still south of that 23.6. The bears might want to sell at 23.6. The bulls might want to see if we get some solid footing going forward right now. I have no place to draw my rectangle, so I'm just going to kind of take a deep breath. On the upside, I'll draw something on the upside just to, because I know a lot of you guys are like, where's your rectangles? Here we go. This is going to be my contemporary area of what I'm going to call resistance on the upside. Pop that in there. We'll keep an eye on that. We have a pretty big volume bar just south of that. That could be a nice target also. Let's just toggle over to the, I want to see another bar before we make a decision here on what to do. MNQ, where are we at? MNQ micro NASDAQ. And this is why I'm a fan. All right, let me point this out. This is why I'm a fan of the micro NASDAQ instead of the classic. Look at this candle. I mean, the nerve of this candle. Look at that. I'm just going to go high to low here. It's a 50-point candle with a ginormous wick at the bottom. Buyers came in and said, no, and you just shot this baby back up. And so where do you put your stop? If you were long, you would have been stopped out. So you got to be really, really careful as you're especially going into times of volatility with this particular market. Although it could be, this was the opening. This was the opening candle, right? This was the opening candle, and then we had boom, a turnaround candle right after that, and then now we're kind of driving up and keep on going bullish here as well. CCI opposite story, over 100, 136, starting to peak up. I really like a long trade here in the NASDAQ. I'm gonna throw a couple of orders in right now. I'm gonna throw one. See this dashed line here, this green line. That's yesterday's. I'm sorry, high. I'm going to use that as an area of interest for now. There's a lot of volume associated with it also, as you could see in the histogram. So that's a good thing. Point of control, I want to be a little north of the point of control today on this, and we're going to kind of do that. Then lastly, if you're super aggressive and you're like, hey, this thing is off to the races, you also have the top of the value area to consider as a potential area of interest. I'm going to draw a fib line though before I get too excited, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go. Well, we could do the opposite here, actually. Let me just get that. We can go low to high. It's not going to matter. I'm going to use this low. This is the contemporary low to the contemporary high. If I went high to low, the percents are still the same. The ratios are still the same. We're right here at 23.6. And I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna hold. I think we're in good shape right here on the micros. Maybe we'd add another one if we tried to kind of attack. A lot of times these wicks do get attacked down on the downside, so I'm going to go ahead and consider that. I'm just going to put my crosshairs here and see what we're looking at. This. Oh boy, where would I draw a rectangle? Let's do it. It helps me think. It helps me think. So does talking. You could talk out loud when you trade at home. No one's going to care, except for maybe the dog. My dog doesn't care. My dog is sleeping. Sam's in the house. Sam, morning. How are the Pope Warriors doing? Hopefully they're doing well. I got to start paying attention on this whole deal. Leaf finally says good morning. Thank you for that, Leaf. I appreciate that. Griffin's out at 91 3/4. I thought that one had legs. A lot of volatility today. I'm thinking about a third unit here in the NASI, but I think I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it day. My third unit's going to be at the 61. I want to see penetration into my rectangle. I know it might be a little counterintuitive, but I think just given the size of these candles right now, I'm not scared. Look at that big candle. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So easy does it on these on the NASDAQ, whether it's classic or micro. We have a new candle formed yet. Let's see. We got one more minute, 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw a rectangle in right now. Is there area support? We'll see where this particular candle closes. And again, just to kind of, for folks that are new, I'd like to draw my rectangles. So this is my area of what I'm going to call support. And I match the top of the rectangle up with the bottom of whatever candle is the lowest closed candle in recent memory, and that's this one right here. And I want to, so if this candle closes in my rectangle, I'm gonna have to move it down, right? We're still in bear mode here. Same thing on the top. The highest body of the candle. I should say that, but yeah, the highest body of the candle is going to kiss up against the bottom of my rectangle to kind of develop, an area of resistance. So that's kind of, we framed the conversation right there. We're going to have to be dynamic here because we're going to be making new lows in a second here on the ES. So if you're short, you might be sitting pretty. We have a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high. And then conversely, not conversely, but also we have, a lower low, just a little anomaly, lower low, lower low. We're filled on the micro NAS. This market is still breaking down pretty significantly. We have two of our, I get this order filled note. See if we can get our third unit. And then we're going to start thinking about stop losses and things like that, just for emergency purposes here. I'm going to put my stop loss in. Remember, because I'm long, so it's going to be a sell stop. And this is either going to be the quickest, worst trade of all time, or it's going to be very exciting. And again, I don't know if there's any economic releases or what are the economic releases today? At 10 o'clock, we had leading indicators in e-commerce retail sales by, I don't know what the answer is here because I was not logged in, but to this as we were doing our introductions, stopped out to the tick, Griffin said. That's about the third time this week. Gotta love it. Yeah, that's the most frustrating, irritating thing of all time. So I don't know what if these things are moving anything or not. I just don't know what they are. Well, we're stopped out. That was the fastest in and out. But the good news, it was in micros. Gave it a shot. I'm still bullish in this market. And today, maybe not. We have some pretty significant 1, 2, 3 red candles here. Let's take a look at what's going on in the ES. Wow, same story. And so notice how I was more conservative in the ES, and that's because this is a bigger contract. right? It's $12.50 a tick. And so you really got to pick your spots carefully right now. So we're, interestingly, I want to see what happens with this minus 61.8. Let's see if we, I had my fib line drawn earlier today. I'm not going to move it just yet. We're going to kind of look at this minus 61.8 and see if this is going to be give us any relevance, any area of support. This rectangle is completely no good. Let's get rid of that. And see what's going on here. Very, very negative. Let's look at the daily charts. Probably should have done that first. So this is the ES, S&P 500 stock index future. A lot of sellers coming in. We're at the bottom of our, I don't know what kind of formation this is at the very second, but it's, maybe the range isn't that huge yet. So we'll see what happens. Overall, the ES is only down 9 handles on the day. My support area here is still, long-term support, that is still in play. It's still fixed. This channel here is probably done forever, not forever, but for now. And this green kind of trend channel I drew, and my extensions are still in play. Until we get, until we get into our area of support, I'm going to leave the expansions up here. Is it expansions? I always say it backward. Extensions. Expansions is something different. Extensions. So this 47.17 is still in play as far as I'm concerned. We're a lot closer to that still than this 46.25. So, but it does look like we're kind of going sideways a little bit. And it's going to be interesting because here's ES falling like a rock, Sam. Absolutely. I know. We'll see if we can get some support at any time as we go. But one of the things that really was interesting to me is, okay, so Fed chairman announcement imminent. Then now it's days away. And then today it's like before Thanksgiving. So they keep pushing it back, right? Which means in my mind that they're still debating. There's still uncertainty on what's going to happen here. And so I look at the sideways market in equities, and I'm thinking about that. And then I kind of looked at the Fed Watch tool, right? This is today's Fed Watch tool, and then this is last week's Fed Watch tool. And so when I look at, I look at the meeting dates, we have a 100% chance that there's nothing's gonna, the Fed funds target's still going to be 0 to 25, then 97.5, and then now it's 82.4 for the March number. And then if I look at last week's, the March number was lower, right? The higher probability of an interest rate hike in the March it was 70, not a lot, 78.6 to 82.4. And so this kind of behavior now, I know it's a function of the markets, but I'm wondering if this isn't suggesting that Chairman Powell is going to stay on board for a longer period of time, and we're not going to have a new chairman. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm looking at the March probability changes for this, and the reason is the March 16th is the first. March 16, 2022 is the first time that there'll be a reappointment, right? So because the appointment expires in February 2022. February 2022. So after February 2022, there's going to be a new chairman of the FOMC. And like it or not, the chairman's got a lot of power. So this is telling me that there's starting to be some I don't know, what do you want to call it? Uncertainty is kind of being removed from this process right now is what I'm thinking, because that will be the first meeting of the new constituted board, if it is new or anything like new. All right. So anyway, this is let's check out Treasury bonds. Treasury bonds are they're acting in the opposite of the equity markets right now. A couple up days, pretty strong up day. We're actually kind of bisecting here the 50-day moving average, which is interesting. I think that's the 50-day. Let's just double check. I'm going to go to my indicators. Red is usually 50, yeah. And then 100 is green, and then 150 is blue. And I just have this overlaid along with this trend channel, which was broke forcibly And you could do the opposite too. Trend channel, go high to low on the down one, but I want to see some more bars here before we do that. Gold slowing its roll, broke through the trend line, going sideways again, as a lot of these markets are right now. Then I got the infamous Bitcoin is falling out of bed still. That thing is crashing like crazy. We'll see what happens here. And, the inverse relationship between these two is just fascinating to me. Or maybe there's a lag, right? Maybe you could say, hey, gold is lagging behind Bitcoin, or maybe not. I don't know. But that's just an overlay chart I drew with that gold line on close bar there, and thought that was relatively interesting. Crude oil starting to get some relief here. A lot of conversations with the president of the U.S. and the president of China. Is it the president of China? Talking about maybe releasing some of our emergency reserves into the system to help give some relief on gasoline prices and other energy prices. We're still, though, kissing up against my trend line here. We'll see what happens. So I'm cautiously optimistic that this will start breaking on the downside. And then finally, on our micro NASI, still bullish. Our trade idea got hammered today. We're rallying up here a little bit. We're in a triangle, ascending triangle, maybe. I don't know. Ascending triangles are supposed to break up on the way out. We'll see if that continues its pace, but it's looking positive to me. I mean, again, I'm bullish. I really am long term. Today, maybe we were a little too aggressive, too excitable. All right, so my 61.8 did not do anything of importance whatsoever. We're still hitting rock bottom and still digging. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit further here, and we'll take a look at what to do next. From a volume point of view, we're starting to develop a second distribution here at the bottom around 75 3/4. Long way to go before this becomes a point of control. Overall volume in the ES is 343. It's nothing to write home about, to be honest with you, but it's better than a sharp poke in the eye. All right. Sorry, I've just been talking. I've been ignoring everybody else. Terrence says Bitcoin and the rub in China is bad. Carlos says 46.56 could be a target later. Okay, so you're looking at even a more bullish behavior today. And again, ES is still only down 10. It's not like today's although YM is down 232, but the YM components, individual components, are having some problems. Again, I was talking to my brother about this yesterday, and the YM is one of those things where it's it's really sensitive to only 30 components, right? There's only, as opposed to the S&P 500 components, or even the NASDAQ 100. So that gives you this the index, sometimes marches to its own drummer because of there are these components that are a little out of whack sometimes and cause this price dislocation that we're seeing in the Dow right now, minus 244. It's a decent sized down day for that. It's going across the board here. Let's see, we talked about bonds already. Micro Bitcoin, 11,555. We need to get some more volume before that is doing anything. It's up 26.50. If you're trading grains, that's exciting. And then currencies, I look at the euro. The euro is relatively strong today versus the US dollar, 305. Just look at the end of the digits there, 305 or 30.5, depending on how you want to look at it. So the dollar is a little bit weaker against the euro right now. So if you're planning your trip, this market's still going down. This could be one of these days where it's just never going to be an up day. We've seen this, and this is kind of a cautionary tale. It's literally, I've said this before. There's every once in a while you have a day where I don't care how tempting it is to try to buy the low. You shouldn't try to buy the low. It just keeps going. Trickling down, trickling down. And that could be today. I mean, this is 1, 2, breath, 3, 4, 5, 6 red candles in a row, all with lower highs. That is pretty bearish right now. So we'll see. We'll see if buyers come in right now. If not, we're going to sit on our hands. Carlos could be right. 56 is the target. We'll see how we go there. Yeah, so I know the Fed, so what I did, that's a great question. So, Jim says with all these Fed governors talking, it's no wonder the markets are goofy. I added a new category to my cheat sheet. My new category to my notes is Fed parade. This new category. So I'm listing them. Yesterday we had quite a few more of them. We had, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 more of them, but today this is what I was able to identify anyway, of folks that might be talking, running around saying stuff they shouldn't say. But I have this new category, Jim, and I'm gonna call that the Valentine Fed Parade line item. Griffin says, how to turn a 20-point trade into a 4-point trade. Hate when that happens. I have a line at 74. Not sure what that is. That happens to me all the time. You draw a trend line or some other kind of line, and you forget about it, and it just kind of exists forever on your chart because you think it's like something that is important. It might have been important like 3 months ago, but it's no longer important. It's okay to delete those, Griffin. Just hit the delete, just highlight, delete. You'll be okay. Griffin says support on the daily is right here. If we get down more, 46, I think, is now. All right, so we got competing downsides, 46 versus 56. Griffin adds on good trend days. So this was a good trend day. You add on the sell side. For sure. And it's a constant battle here with the fib because we keep making new lows. So this is totally invalid. And so we get some kind of area support here before we try to get in into this. So I just got a text from my brother. What's happening? It's a washout. Well, I don't know about washout. And NASDAQ's still up 21. Yes is only down 12. And then the YM is having problems. I want to say Visa. Let's just go. What are the had some problems yesterday. Dow. Let me see if my mind is right on that analysis. Yeah, Visa yesterday had some announcements or something, maybe earnings, I don't know, and it got whacked a little bit, and it kind of helped really push. I think that's what I remember seeing. But most of the Dow stocks are down except for Merrick and Microsoft and Home Depot. Home Depot had some good results also, for sure. Okay, Terrence, thank you for that assist. Amazon is not taking Visa UK anymore. Carlos says the VIX attempting the 18 level, recently 17.23. The volatility index, I think that's a good thing to watch. If you're not watching it, it kind of is going to show you, give you kind of a relative measure day by day, week by week of the volatility in these markets. And there still is a little uncertainty. Again, I'm going back to my Fed thing. I mean, let's pick a Fed chair. Let's get that out of the way. I mean, that's the big deal. I know there's also some testimony today for the position of comptroller of the currencies. Comptroller of the currency. It's a thing. There is a person that does this, and it's they regulate the community banks, whatever a community bank is versus a non-community bank. I don't know, but they regulate the community bank. So that's going on. That testimony is going on in Capitol Hill at some point today. I do not think that's adding to any of the drama we're seeing here today with these ugly red candles. Now, one interesting thing to consider is we have some volume here, right? That's kind of making a new point of control. And then we have a 23.6 and we have a 38.2. So if you are ready to add on to the doom and gloom idea here, it's okay to try to go ahead and get short in using these levels, the fib levels right now. But I really want to see one more candle before we do that. So let's kind of hang tight. The value area just shifted down again to 86.5. I don't know if you saw that. Timothy says, I think Amazon is going to buy the pay later thing. I know what you're talking about. I don't know. I was thinking that I have in one of my accounts, I have Citrix Online. I bought like 17 years ago because everyone was using Citrix Online instead of Zoom. This is pre-pandemic. And the only reason I'm holding on to it is because I'm hoping Zoom buys them or somebody buys them. That's the only reason. Not a very logical investment strategy on my point, but my part. That's what's going to happen with that. I lost my YouTube people. Where'd they go? Here we go. All right, Lee says, yeah, Amazon stopped taking Visa payment. Looks like the UK Amazon. That's kind of weird. Jim is not happy with Amazon. How much of your business, how much stuff do you buy on Amazon every day? It's out of curiosity. Waykar asks, how do you draw support and resistance from volume profile? Well, the extension lines here are just automatically set up, right? So top of the value area, bottom of the value area, and the point of control, they're already set up. Look how negative this is, holy cow. So I'm not sure if that's what you mean or not. Give me a little bit more to go on. We could talk about it. Griffin's Amazon Prime card is a Visa. So is mine. Oh my God. Oh no, actually I'm thinking Costco. Sorry, my bad. Support and resistance I draw from the candle themselves. And there is absolutely no support right now. This is sellers just deciding to sell for whatever reason. Doesn't matter what the reason is really. And actually, a new area of interest to me is right here. This 23.6, because we do have another lower high, and a very valid trade idea. Oops, I'm sorry. Very very valid trade idea. Trying to get short there, right below the 23.6, right below the high of this particular candle here. There's no support. I'm going to go with it. Maybe we'll do a second unit at 38.2, and we'll see if this really becomes a point of control or not. Right around 73. Uh-oh, Griffin, are you serious? Uh-oh, this is it's the funniest thing in the world, and this is true. We've been down here, when Griffin's referring to North Carolina. We've been down here for 2 months, 3 months now. Haven't been to a Costco yet, when we used to always go when we were in Chicago. Mrs. Cagg says this morning, I'm going to go to Costco today. But now Griffin's telling me Costco won't take the Visa down here. That could be problematic. I better warn her before here she goes. Oh my goodness. Outside day, outside to the downside. Yeah, very possible. So I'm still a little hopeful we can get a little bit of buyers coming in here, so we could establish a short position around 75.25. I think it's reasonable. Again, I don't see any hope for buyers coming in yet. We'll just kind of slow a roll. We'll wait. We'll see. Yeah, Timothy, I hear you. I didn't watch that. I'm kind of a Bloomberg guy. Timothy says yesterday, Tom Lee, the guy that's followed by many on the CNBC, was on at noon saying the market is going to drop. Yeah, I mean, there's probably 50% of the people on TV say it's going to drop and 50% say it's going to rise. So someone's going to be right and someone's going to be wrong. But some folks are better than others. And I don't really know who Tom Lee is. I haven't really followed him much, but all right, well, we got short. Let's see if our trade idea, at least my trade idea, is any good. And what I really want to see here is a situation where we're going to try to get these lows again. We're going to try to get down to these lows again. And as opposed to saying, hey, this is support, I'm going to draw a rectangle anyway. I'm going to draw my rectangle anyway and put it right where I'm supposed to put it. And actually, this rectangle is going to be funky because the wick is so big here. And I'm going to say, I want to see penetration back in here. See if we can get some, get a good trade idea going. Now, the tricky part about this is right now, the retracement, the 38.2 is a very, very valid area of retracement, right? And I would consider, for the first time ever, maybe, because it's right above the point, the bottom of the value area also, is doing a second unit there. So my trade idea is going to start, it's going to start developing around a retracement back up and then slide right back down. And then, where am I wrong? Well, right at the shelf here, right at the shelf of the volume profile, I believe I'm wrong. And that's a big risk. Do it in the micros if you don't have a big size account. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking, just looking at the structure of these candles. We have a higher high finally. We have a higher high finally, but not a real exciting higher high, just kind of a couple of ticks. Mike, I'm not sure what your question is. I don't know. I haven't used them in a long time, Mike, but if you're having issues, just contact support at transactfutures.com and they'll get you going if there's any issues with them. Uh-oh, Griffin's moving to Texas. Jim, like North Carolina, I got family down here, so I have a little bit of an advantage of being down here because I got some people right away. Weather's great. People have been new people I've met have been great. Restaurants are great. Sporting events are great. Not sure which neighborhood we're going to settle in, but other than that, I appreciate the question. So far, so good. Sam's Costco card is a Visa also. There we go. Mike says all the talking heads will change their opinion tomorrow and then change it on Monday. But that's an interesting comment, Mike, because it's really hard. I mean, we've been doing this together, 3 days a week now for a long period of time, and it's really hard to be right. I mean, so we developed these rules and hopefully these rules result in more success than failure, right? And if they don't, then we have to tweak the rules and kind of learn as much as we can in the process. So I hear you. I mean, I feel for these guys on TV because they're on the spot, right? They gotta have an answer, and I hope they never put me on TV. Because I'm going to talk about Costco. Me and Sam are going to talk about wrestling and Costco. If we, if I'm ever on TV, you could call in. Let's just take a peek at the Nasdaq right now, because right now the Nasdaq is still up 40 on the day. ES is crawling back up. I'm sticking to my guns in my trade idea, though. All right. So let me adjust my fibs. And now we're back up, right? So high to low. I drew this low to high, no, high to low. I drew it backward, but that's okay. We're right at the 61.8% level right here, which is just short of 50. Yeah, I mean, again, this is, in my opinion, this might be an interesting place to get short in this particular market. It's just, you only have two candles, one higher high. So let's wait for another 5 minutes here. I'm going to draw a rectangle just in case anybody's interested. I'm going to do that right there. All right. I think we're in good shape here. Actually, this rectangle should be a little bit more consistent with the wick. There we have it. All right, we'll see. I mean, we get up to this 38.2%. In the NASI, I'm going to be worried because we're closer to the point of control. I'm not going to be worried because we don't have a position on, but worried. All right, where we at on the Q&A box? So Jim says, every time I don't follow my rules, it gets handed to me. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's hard and it's boring to follow your rules because a lot of times it results in a situation where you just don't, you just can't stand it anymore, right? And those are the times when you just turn off the computer and walk away and you go get a cup of coffee. You got to be sure you look in the dishwasher though for the coffee mugs. Jim says the Niceville region is great. If the place is called Niceville, it should be great. I'm just thinking out loud. Yeah, Thaddeus, I focus on a 10-minute. And the reason I focus on a 10-minute is because I want this trade to have legs for 60 minutes. I have a 60-minute window. We're together for an hour. And that's kind of my time frame. If we were doing a longer term swing trade maybe, or a real short kind of in and out, then it would be opposite. It would be a little different. So that's kind of how I look at it. And that's why I'm looking at a 10-minute. So if I was doing like a swing trade or a position trade, and keep in mind, I have other charts on other monitors that I can't show you because the Zoom software only kind of sticks to one. All right, so we're getting close to getting our second unit. Here's our second unit. You can see it over here on the ES. And this particular NASI is strong. We're up 54 on the day. I'm not interested in going short in the NASDAQ right now, for sure. I mean, maybe the opposite. Maybe trying to buy at the 50% and the 61.8% again is a good idea. But again, I want to see another candle to see if we get another higher high. We got 3 more minutes. Let's just sit on our hands for 3 more minutes. G Money asks, so is 646? All right, wait, he means the yes. So my rectangle right now is between, and again, this is a range, it's not a number, 71 3/4 all the way down to approximately 65 3/4. This is where buyers are coming in so far. This is where buyers are coming in so far. We'll see if that continues or not. But that's where I have what's called my area of support. My resistance is way up here. And even way up here from what time is, let's see, the last time I traded up there, it was right before the open, 920 to 930 bar. That's pretty far away from where we're at right now. So we're just kind of right here between 38 and 23. Let's kind of look at the volume profile here. Point of control is looking pretty good. The competing point of control down here. I'm optimistic that this is going to start accumulating data down here, volume down here also. I wish we would have got that second unit, but maybe we still can. Who knows? We're, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ticks away. 9 ticks away. 8 ticks away. Just saw a 4680 print. It's a good thing. Yeah, so that's the answer, Thaddeus. It's like I have a 60-minute duration on this. I have kind of a 6 times multiplier in my head. And sometimes you're in a trade, it's going to be longer. You don't want to just get out of the trade because your time is up. You want to get out of a trade either because you're wrong, which I am every once in a while, sometimes more than every once in a while, or you're right, your profit target gets hit. So what I'm going to say is that kind of analysis in my head, I think it works. The volume profile is not time sensitive, right? This is just based on all the volume for today, right? I could change the start time, but I don't. This is just all the volume for today. And that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Griffin, I don't know if your wife's going to like that location in particular. Easy Street in Tightwad, Missouri. Yeah, so at this point in the trade, CCI is still pretty negative, but the angle is the slope rather of the CCI from its low of minus 345 to where it is now is pretty steep. And that's suggesting momentum is turning around quickly. We'll see what happens on this next candle. I mean, we're 2 ticks away from getting our second unit. And so let's be patient and see what happens. The moving average cross is separating still. I want to make sure I have that indicator set up properly. Let's just double check. On each tick, yep. On each tick, yeah. So that's kind of that's a positive thing with respect to our trade idea, and we missed this second unit by a tick or two. I know it's frustrating. It's like, you know, Griffin had the opposite experience where his stop got hit right on the tick, and a lot of times you're equally as frustrated when your profit target misses by a tick. Although we're going to be patient here. It's only 10:41. We have plenty of time, and to see what happens. We'll be patient. NASDAQ's only down 48 now. And Dow is starting to fight back, only down 177. And let's see what happens to it. Our average price is going to shift up to probably around 78-ish if we do get this fill right now. Lewis, no mosquito problems for me, man, whatsoever down here in Charlotte. Weather's been unbelievable. Yesterday it was like 70 something. I was walking a dog in a t-shirt. It's crazy. Crazy. For those of you who are brand new to Futures Trading 101 is coming up at 12 o'clock noon. Feel free to pop into that one. Just go to the same NinjaTrader linked web page and pop in there and feel free to participate in that one too. And it's really, you know, if you've seen it once, you probably don't need to see it again, but it's, you know, we're just going to really cover the basics. You know, what's a bid, what's an ask, what's globacks, how are orders routed, what's leverage, what's intraday leverage margin, let's, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. You know, why is it better than other types of, thank you, Isabella, for cutting and pasting that in there. She's cutting and pasting the link to the platform training page. And I think there's another, I think also coming up. That's good. Check that out every once in a while, because I think we're doing a psychology trading class soon. That's going to be a lot of fun. I've become a psychologist. I sit on the couch and talk to myself. Lewis, I'll be honest with you. I love, yeah, you don't have, oh, I got a great story at Los Angeles story for you, Lewis. There's no, you know, because you have that ocean breeze, right? So the bugs can't survive. The little flying insects can't survive that. They can't handle that, right? So they're not there. I had a friend, my son had a friend of his come. He was in high school, and a friend of his from LA came into town for an event, stayed with us, 4th of July weekend. He took him out with his pals, see fireworks and stuff. And there was fireflies. And this fella from, his name is Bernie, great kid. This fella from LA area was like, what are those lights in the sky? You know, a little bit confused because with 4th of July. And it turned out they were fireflies. He never saw one before. He never saw a firefly. He didn't know what the heck it was. It was hilarious. Any event. I like LA too. I don't know. I know a lot of people say I shouldn't, but I do, Lewis. I'm on your side. Going to Arizona in January, dropping off son number 2, college, long road trip, 30 hours here from Charlotte. Let's just kind of go back to the candles here, though. Let me move this out of the way. Let me better position the fib line so it's not in our face. And let's take a kind of peek here at what's going on with these candles here. So our retracement kind of stalled out, although we have a third candle so far with the higher high. We're not out of the woods yet. We just missed our next unit. We just quite didn't get it. And a lot of times the Fibonacci numbers, I don't know if we hit the price, but just didn't have enough. We weren't close enough in line to get filled or not. But a lot of times the Fibonacci numbers aren't exact. You know, it's not exact. It doesn't hit exactly right. It's just kind of a guideline, but it comes awfully close sometimes. In this particular case, it did. Why they kind of work, in my opinion, I have no idea. It's just like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's just simply the golden ratio. If you remember that from 8th grade, if you were an honor student, otherwise you didn't remember that until high school. I didn't know it until college. So that's that. And the CCI slope is slowly but surely slowing down. We're still, again, not out of the woods here yet, and by any stretch of the imagination. But that's okay. We're gonna hang tight. We're gonna stick to the trading plan. And the reason I don't have a profit target in just yet is because I thought we were going to have 2 units, and we didn't have 2 units. So I'm going to put one down here. I'm going to say we're going to make new lows here. I'm going to throw in a profit target right now. And we could adjust that as we go. If we get a lot of velocity on the downside, we could even go lower. I don't know. Maybe buyers are going to come back into my rectangle. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of people looking at my rectangle right now. Holly says, and I kind of agree. I kind of agree with this idea that fib numbers work because so many traders are using them. I'm reading Geiger's book, or Bible, I should say, on the Fed right now, and I just read Galbraith's book on the Depression, and both come to a little bit of the conclusion that things like inflation have a self-fulfilling prophecy because people believe it's going to continue for a long period of time, and as a result, they buy stuff now instead of waiting a year because they think it's going to be more expensive in a year, and this cycle repeats itself, right? And I think that kind of ideas could be true with Fibonacci as well. Well, we have this situation where a lot of folks use them. It's not that hard to apply, figure out where to put them, and buying and selling decisions come off of them. I think it's true. I don't know. But anyway, Paulie, I appreciate that comment. It's a good one. Oh, Sam is with the no CMs. Yeah, I don't have no CMs here, I don't think, in Charlotte. And when I was in Charleston this weekend, I did not witness any there either. But Florida, I think, is. Are they there in? Do you have no CMs in Atlanta or in Georgia, where you're at? Oh, Sam, thanks for that tip. This is important. He gave me a wrestling tip. Sorry, guys. We're amateur wrestling fans here in the South. Holy Angels tournament in Charlotte. I'm going to check that. I'm writing this down on a piece of paper right now as we're waiting for our trade idea to percolate. Holy Angels tourney. Yeah, with the COVID rules and stuff, I don't know what the deal is. I know that the Oak Park River Forest Huskies are finally making it back to the Clash, which is in Rochester, Minnesota. Which is in Rochester, Minnesota on New Year's Day. I mean, which is the worst for the parents because nobody wants to be in Rochester, Minnesota on New Year's Day. It's freaking cold. Beach Bum says we have no CMs in Southeast North Carolina. Yeah, that makes sense. So our trade idea is kind of slowing down here. Let's see, we're going to get another candle in a second. We just got it as I spoke. We'll see. We might have to adjust our game plan here as we approach 11 o'clock, which means that sell that I have up there could easily turn into a stop instead. As this market kind of gets its footing. Let's take a look at the volume profile and see if that helps us at all. So right now we're getting volume accumulating right where we're at. No surprise, and it's not a little bit of volume, it's a lot of volume. So we very well could have this volume profile kind of developing a second node down here at the bottom. We'll see. A lot of market weakness between 81.5 all the way up to 87. That's kind of the dead man zone right there. There's not a lot of market happiness there, not a lot of volume there. We just blew through it on the way down, and we haven't been able to penetrate on the way up. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to start thinking about where to put another rectangle at for an area of resistance. Let's see what happens with this candle though. Alex, disagree with you very much on that. And actually, scalping is a term. You know, having Chicago Board of Trade floor experience, scalping isn't a term that I would use when I'm day trading or when anyone's day trading futures. I mean, the systems folks have taken that over. I mean, scalping is where I'm buying the bid, selling the offer. No one here is buying the bid and selling the offer, especially manually. Maybe if you're automated, but there's so many algos that do that a lot quicker than you. That's not a game we can win at, in my opinion. So scalping is kind of a weird term of art. In general, day trading is different, right? And anybody who's been coming to these events day after day after day knows, you know, my whole thing is patience, right? And give yourself some breath, give yourself some room, and try to be scientific about what you're doing. And that's kind of what we do. So the definition of scalping is maybe it's changed. I don't know, but to buy the bid and sell the offer is not a sustainable practice in my experience if we're trading from a screen somewhere remotely. Good morning from Norway. Nor Auto Trading is in the house. Thanks for coming. Doug, thank you for that. Show of support. Doug likes the NinjaTrader software. Sweet. You know, I've been just gratuitous plug right now, if I must. Remember, I've been doing this for decades and really got involved heavily in this business with the emergence of the retail online trading platforms. And you know, the very first one, PMB Inc. Nobody here probably remembers PMB Inc., but it was web-based, and you literally had two options: buy at the market or sell at the market. And the only data you got was your average buy price and your average sell price. It was the greatest thing of all time. And then JTrader came in, and TT came in, and YesTrader came in, which was the predecessor to the Transact a trading platform, Strategy Runner, you name it, I've used it, Photon Trader, throughout the years. And I'm going to say with a straight face and with a high degree of confidence that this software right here is the best one that I've used. I just think the data feed is extremely fast. The execution speed is extremely fast. It's stable. It's intuitive. You pretty much right click on anything and it happens. So I know I'm preaching a little bit. Sorry about that. But I think it's worth it. I think it's good. And again, let's take a look at this candle here. I was going to end early today, but now I'm not going to end early today because I want to see what the heck happens with these candles. I want to see what happens with the 10 o'clock candle. I mean, we have some consolidation coming in here. I'm going to just draw my crosshairs here. We got a high. We don't even need the crosshairs. We could just use our little roller here. A high at 81.25. The next candle, high 81.75, and the contemporary candle, the one that's working right now, 81.25. So we're kind of consolidating. We're starting to generate an area. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to copy my rectangle. I'm going to paste it. Control V, move it down right there. Short term. Let's see if this could hold. If this can hold, this is good for our trade idea. That area down now, I've kind of moved this, and I'm going to even delete this. This is no longer valid in my mind. We're too far away from that. So now we have a new area of resistance that's developing here. And it makes sense because if you look at the volume profile now, we're starting to get some volume going here. Look at, this is a competing point of control right here. We're not too far away from the golden point of control we had earlier today. We're starting to do it. So we'll see if we kind of settle around a new double distribution area at the bottom here, or not. Mike, I do not look at a 1, 3, or 5 minute chart. I'm like 10, 30, 60, 1 day, 1 week. 10, 30, 60 daily, weekly is kind of my thing. You know, I think if you're, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I know Griffin's been using, I think 3 and 9 for a long time, and you could certainly do that with the NinjaTrader software. I'm just not very good at it. And I think those shorter term timeframes kind of change your thinking to make shorter term trades, right? My whole thing is 1, 2, 3 good setups a day. That's it, right? And try to give yourself some breath and try to give yourself some a chance of success. So that's just what I'm thinking. Anyway. Doug, later. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Jim, appreciate it. See you next week, you guys. If you're bailing early, that's fine. Just have a great weekend. Don't forget the thumbs up on YouTube. Appreciate that. Scalping NQ, that's pretty tough. I mean, I have 2 indicators on here. I literally have 2 indicators on my screen. I have an oscillator, and I have a moving average cross. You know, volume profile is different. It's not really an indicator. It's just telling us where the volume was, right? It's not a lagging indicator. It's not telling us momentum or any of that. Just tracking how much volume is traded at any given price. And I think it's very valuable. It's showing us where traders have decided there's market happiness, where buyers and sellers are doing the most exchanges. You too, Rick. Appreciate that. I'm going to stick around for the next candle, though. And while we're doing that, I do want to remind, at what time is it? Yeah, we've got 3 more minutes. I do want to remind everybody trading futures options on futures involves substantial risk of loss, not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility, although that can be an equation for opportunity, also equation for risk. So be careful. Only fund your futures trading account with risk capital and easy on the day trade margins. That's my advice for the day. So, oh, Doug's saying bye to Valentine. Yeah, cool. Gotcha. Tova, thank you for being here. Monday and Friday. So for me, I get this question a lot, Frank. It's, you know, I got to do a lot of development work and a lot of other stuff as part of my job. So it's really hard for me to, you know, sit in front of a chart all day. So, and that's kind of an important thing because, you know, you need to pay attention. You need to kind of be in a groove where you're trading at the same time, the same market, the same system, to get good at it. And if you can't apply that kind of discipline to it, it's going to be harder and harder to do. So with me, my schedule is kind of, believe it or not, there's other things that I do with NinjaTrader. From Facebook, Kevin, love it. Awesome. Yeah, we'll be back at it though next week, and for sure. And this is probably just to kind of put the icing on the cake, Frank. This is the funnest thing I do, is the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday thing, and not because I'm overly excited to hear myself just talk nonstop for an hour, but because you guys come in and you give feedback and you give your opinions and you talk about your own trades, and that kind of thing is great for not only me, but for everybody. So I really appreciate that. Feel free to tell your friends, your family, your neighbors, whoever is interested in this idea of looking at the futures markets, either from a short-term or long-term point of view. Feel free to invite them. I mean, it's, you know, it's free. You don't have to pay any money. You can hang on. So what just happened here? A point of control just shifted down here. Did you see that? That was pretty cool. All right. So it was up here. We just shifted down here. So right now we're trading in what's called a double distribution. This is the bottom distribution right now. We're going to be trading around this point of control, which I think is a good for our trade idea, because with this distribution, you're going to have some room at the top of the value area, which means maybe we're going to finally get our second unit. And then we're going to hopefully have some downside at the bottom of what's going to be the new value area, which is this kind of bubble we see right here. We'll see. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm going to stick with this kind of trade setup. Now that we have another candle, let's just kind of really look at it really closely before we say goodbye. And let me kind of expand it even more. So we have, you know, a higher high, a lower high, and right now we're just kind of percolating right behind my, right underneath my rectangle. Remember this rectangle, and I should probably move it up a little higher. This rectangle is now my area resistance. I feel good about it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, candles that haven't been able to close in it. The fifth candle's trying, but it's not trying very hard. And I actually wanted to, because I do want to pick up the second unit and see if we can get some trade push back down. So that's what I got cooking right now. Point of control, Lewis, is just the price at which the most volume has occurred throughout the session. That's all it is. So this golden line here is the, and let me kind of really kind of explain it better if I can. See these numbers inside each histogram bar. This is the volume that's traded within the scope of that histogram bar. And I have my histogram bar set at 2 ticks. And you can see they're moving, right? As price trades, the volume accumulates, the histogram bars get longer, and the 15,653 is just the longest one. That's all it is. It's just the price point in which more volume has happened than any other place for that particular session. It's not, you know, no complicated equations, none of that stuff. It's really kind of straightforward. Okay, so I'm sorry. I can't even, I'm gonna call you Sam. I can't pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Satisvian, is that right? I will do that. I apologize for not doing that right now. So just so you know, the bottom of my rectangle here, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. It's 4680 in the S&P. That's the start of what I'm calling my area of resistance. And again, we haven't had a close in there for a while. The top of it is 8275, give or take. Apologize, you can't see it very well. And then I do have the standing order sitting there that we just missed by 1 tick. Very frustrating, but that's the way it is sometimes, and you're just going to kind of shake it off. So again, thank you for that comment. I'll try to do better next time when we do this next Tuesday, Wednesday. So now we're kind of going back down. One thing I would probably consider doing right now is just, it's 11 o'clock. Everything changes at lunchtime. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and cancel that second unit. I'm going to change my stop from a 2 to a 1. And then I am going to drag it down to the top of my rectangle. So I'm going to kind of take some risk off the table. And I'm going to let this kind of percolate right now. My target, I'm going to leave alone. You might want to tighten it up if you're a little bit nervous about it. But right now I'm going to kind of keep it like this for now. I think this is kind of reasonable going into the lunchtime hour. We'll see what happens. You never know. That's it. It's time for another liquid break. I'll be back here at 12 o'clock Eastern time. Appreciate everybody being here. And we'll go over it again at noon today. If I don't see you again, have a great weekend. And remember, be safe out there and be good to each other. Take care, guys. Thanks.